Welcome back everyone to Showbiz India, and today with me it is my pleasure to welcome the prolific and talented director and producer Prakash Jha. Welcome to Showbiz India and to USA. It's great to see you.
Such a pleasure talking to you.
You usually are attracted to social political dramas. Why?
See, the drama which is always played on the real kind of land with real characters, with real issues is always very fascinating. But what I talk about are things which you would expect, a principal to talk, a student to talk, or somebody who has been deprived of an opportunity to talk, or somebody who is trying to look for an opportunity in the business of education would talk. So that way, I would engage you in a real issue and tell you in a very dramatic manner. For me, that's the most important thing, to pick up real social issues and turn them into movies.
The issue of education, which is an extremely important issue worldwide, but especially in India. Tell me your personal feeling about this issue.
Well, it's amazing the way our whole education system has developed, especially after, in the last 30 years. You also see an emerging business of education. There is a complete parallel education industry which runs in this country through coaching centers, through capitation fee institutes, through private universities. And education is is the most important thing for Indian children. And everybody wants to get the children educated, and they will go to any length, do anything, like starve, sell their ornaments. The mothers will do that, sell their land, but see to it that the children get educated. So I found it very interesting that let's explore why has this happened and what is the impact of the whole business of reservation, where seats are reserved, students, how they are coping. This is one country where you may get 95% of marks and you still are not sure which college you might go.
That's incredible.
That's how important education has become in this country.
It's a very layered film from what I can see so far, and that's something that is also applicable to your films previously, yet you interweave them beautifully. How do you go about doing that?
Well, as again I said, that research is one thing. You pick up nuances, you pick up instances, you pick up characters, you go on working on the equations as to why a particular thing has happened. You take each of my films, whether it's Mrityu-dan, whether it is Ganga Jal, I take one aspect of it, a social relationship, and then I would develop characters who will have those nuances. And character is not primarily or kind of living in just one layer. A character has hate, a character has love, a character has grey, a character has white, character also has black, and you behave in all kinds of manners. So that's how I will develop, and that's what makes the characters real. And the most important thing is that eventually truth has to win. Eventually there has to be hope in life. Eventually principles have to override the demons of commercialization.
Now, during the making of the film, there were some protests, like you said. What other challenges did they occur during the making of this film?
See, whenever you take social issues, whenever you have an opinion, there are bound to be other opinions. Because eventually when the film gets released and they see everything in the whole context and perspective, more or less they feel satisfied.
What I found very heartening, what you just said a little while ago, was that you do believe in the end, good, always rules. And
absolutely, that should be the hope. We live on certain principles and we live on certain truth which we have drawn from our parents, from our teachers, from our religion and from humanity. And if we do anything which is wrong, we know that it is not the right thing to do. And that is what in all my films eventually.
That thought-provoking ideas is reflective in all your films, whether it be Mrityu-dan, where it talks about female discrimination, or it may be discrimination of sorts here, and you fight for the underdog. That's wonderful. What makes you want to do that?
I am the underdog. in this in this industry as well.
I don't believe that. You're humble.
Not really, I mean, the kind of subjects I pick up, the kind of films I make, the industry that I live in, where I know that I am competing, because my films will compete with the same big production houses. We will churn out dreams after dreams and fantasies after fantasies and songs and dance and all those dramas. And I have to compete with them, and I have to, in commercial terms, but the same cinemas, the same people, they have to pay the same amount of money for seeing my films. So my films have to live up to the expectations of the entertainment that they are expecting.
You've been in the industry for decades together. Even before that, documentary filmmaker. How have you seen film evolve in the past years? That has been, in your opinion, been a very productive and progressive change.
Well, the most exciting change that this industry is seeing today is because of the vast exhibition system, like multiplex cinemas and smaller cinemas, and people's love for going to cinemas, has now given the opportunity to make all kinds of films. During the time that I used to make films like Damul or Parinati, we knew that we will not be able to exhibit them in the mainstream cinema halls, because it's not viable for anybody. But now it is possible to make a smaller film, and so you can experiment, so you can do all kinds of things. So I think it's a very exciting time, and this is a change. And also in the working in the Indian film industry, there's a whole lot of system, there's a whole lot of corporatization, there's a whole lot of financial responsibility, which has come in. The actors do one film at a time, and there is a whole marketing, promotional, and exhibition systems which are in place. So I think it's an extremely exciting period.
And speaking of the Indian diaspora, such as myself, who didn't know much about this educational system until I started speaking with you, what would be your message to them? I find that fascinating, that we can learn about reservations and, like you said, parallel to affirmative action, what's going on in India for the second generation, for the young students out there.
Well, we all know about it. Maybe we do not know the details. Well, we all are affected by it. Maybe we are not personally affected by it. But then when you realize that, it's everywhere. Even the US needed an affirmative action to bring about some kind of equality. We are doing it in our own way. The shining India is not really shining. Education, which is a means to social mobility. You may not have land, you may not have properties, you may not have a business, but if you get educated and you get an opportunity, you immediately move up in the society. You immediately are, equal to, many, and the mainstream is, open to you.
So while you were doing Rajniti and other films, you're already working on this film.
Yeah.
Now, are you working on something else?
Oh, we have been working on the next film, two films actually, two subjects. One we will take up pretty quickly, and that deals with, the hardcore concept of developing and shining India. I'm dealing with the concept of development of India.